Nuke the Pick. I paid a lot of money for that thumbnail, Zargo. How are you, pal? You keep winning. Someday I'm gonna go to Office Depot and make like a fancy sign for this show. It's not just gonna be like Nuke the Picks.
No, man, that was the best. That was the best intro I've ever had. I love it.
Yeah, you like it? It's Nuke the Picks on the NTH Sports Picks YouTube channel, Holden and Zargo. Have you even subscribed to the new channel? You need to do that. It's up there.
Of course I.
Okay. Hey, listen, we only get like 40 minutes together a week, and yeah, I'm busy. You're a busy man, although you're not as busy these days.
I'm busy, but I'm still a company man.
By the way, you're just killing it, dude. Every week, it's more profit. Last week, the CMC rushing attempts, which I questioned you on, yet still tailed. He nailed that. And what was the other one you hit?
Devontae Adams' longest reception.
Yeah. And I just split. I had the Devontae Adams touchdown, which didn't hit, and then the JSN longest reception on Sunday. Or maybe I gave something else out too. I know I went 1-1, down just a little bit on the show. We're gonna pump it up here on Nuke the Picks. So smash the like button right now. NTH Sports Picks is the new YouTube channel. And if you're watching this, it's the only YouTube channel we're on. And last but not least, nukethehouse.com. Come check us out. 30 a month, 30 a week, 100 a month is what we got going on right now. Daddy Zargs, we got Thursday night football game. Now, on the surface, you look at it and go, oh, this should be a blowout. But divisional game, Jaxson Dart, who is questionable once again, did not look anything special against the Saints. That team had a that's what bad teams do, right? They get a win, then they have a massive letdown the next week. But, you know, the Eagles apparently are the worst 4-1 team in the history of the National Football League. The media is making it out where Saquon and Jalen Hurts talked with A.J. Brown. It was the worst meeting ever. It's Armageddon. It's a get-right spot for the Eagles if you think they need to get right. It's a good start. 7.5-point favorites, unless you go to DraftKings as we record this on Wednesday morning. 7-point favorites for the Eagles. 40.5 is the total. Zargo, you told me you loaded up the betting card this week.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I will just say there is one 4-1 team that rivals this team for being the worst.
Hold on.
What team that is?
A 4-1 team that rivals this team for being the worst. The 49ers? I don't know who.
The 2024-25 Philadelphia Eagles, man.
Oh, come on, man. That's a trick question. I don't even know if the Niners are 4-1 right now.
I got no love for the Eagles. I hate the city of Philadelphia. But it's just funny you said that, and I'm like, we went through this exact same thing last year. And maybe the year before that as well. Like, there's always something going on, supposedly, in the Philadelphia locker room, but it's like they're winning. And any type of internal issues can be put to the wayside when you're winning. So I don't know. I don't think there's any cause for concern there. But yeah, man, a lot of different ways you can look at this game. I do think it's going to be a blowout. Being a divisional game in New York, I'm not going to lay all those points. I don't blame anyone that does. No one should be running to bet the Giants, but there's tons of ways to get in on the action for sure. Starting with Jaxson Dart. Jaxson Dart is not a good quarterback, but the Vegas market is just so off on him that there are so many good betting options. My favorite is passing attempts. I don't mind completions, but attempts a little more juicy, sitting at 30.5. You know, he had 40 last week, 20 in the short time he played against the Chargers. So 30 just seems like a gift. I love that number. And also looking at, his yards is only at 176. Eagles kind of a mid-tier pass defense, so that's not a crazy number to get behind. And as we've talked about multiple times, is the rushing. I mean, he's getting it done with his feet. He had 44 yards against the Saints, 54 against the Chargers, and he's sitting at 36.5. So those are all great numbers. At the end of the day, his stat line is going to look horrible like it has the past 2 weeks, but I don't see any reason he can't hit his props.
You know, last week I laddered him up to 50 yards, and I wonder if we should do that again then. He's going to be questionable, I think, every single week. He gets beaten up really bad because he's running around. But the rushing yards is interesting for me. The passing yards make sense if he stays in the game and doesn't get his ass kicked, knocked out. I think he gets there. If the Giants keep it close, maybe he doesn't get there. The yards are interesting, but the rushing yards, man, and this number is just going to get jacked up, I would think. Now it opened. This is interesting. It opened at 37.5 on DraftKings. Yeah, 37.5 on DraftKings. Went to 38.5, down to 35.5, and now it's sitting at 36.5. So it's been all over the place, and I don't understand why. Like at this point, what does Jaxson Dart have to do to prove that he's just going to run the ball a ton?
Yeah, I mean, unless someone's hedging on him finally just getting clocked and knocked out of the game in the first quarter, I don't really see any reason to bet the under, right? Like I understand if you don't want to jump on that train, but there's no reason to put money behind the under.
Okay, so passing attempts, I'm seeing everywhere. Industry-wide, 30.5.
Mm-hmm.
As we tape this on Wednesday, 30.5 minus 104 at Sugar House. So 30.5 would be the official number. Is that what you got in on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then passing yards is the next one. What are the passing yards you got at?
I'm looking at 176.
176.5 again at DraftKings, minus 112. So we can go to 176 on the passing yards. Okay. Anything else in this game?
Man, I got a couple things that I'm eyeing. So I really Theo Johnson's getting some love just because he had 2 TDs in the last game. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I think he just was in the perfect place. I'm not. I was looking at some unders. I'm not there, but everyone's kind of deeming him Dart's favorite target, and I just don't see it. I lean more towards Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, he had – I lost the number. I know he had 5 receptions last week, 3 the week before, but he's actually received more targets from Jaxson Dart than any other receiver, with the exception of maybe Scattaboo. Don't quote me on that. The problem is that number at 4.5. I like it, but you're not getting good juice. So if you want to get creative, you can get plus money on Eagles money line, Wan'Dale over 4.5 receptions. I was also taking a look at longest reception. Just with the way, though, Jackson's been throwing that Eagles secondary, I'm not quick to jump on that one. So just something to keep an eye on. Maybe do that live. But then maybe
by the way, I went the wrong way with Wan'Dale last week. I should have taken his receptions and not his yards. He had 7 targets, 5 catches, 30 yards. So I think the receptions is the way to go with him.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing, and that's kind of where I'm at. Where I am with Dart is like he's having the opportunities. He is throwing the ball, but we're just not seeing big plays. We're not seeing an overwhelming amount of completions. So it's kind of I'm not crazy about any of the yard props, like longest reception, receiving, anything like that. So that's why I think reception is the safe way to play it. As we talk, we don't have any props out on Scattaboo, so we can't talk about him. However, Saquon, what's going on with Saquon this year?
He's old, man. He went from being spry and young to getting 300 touches and his body breaking down. That's what happened to Saquon.
For sure. So, but he's in New York. Had a few bad weeks. These props about as low. I mean, I don't know when the last time we saw props this low for Saquon Barkley. Haven't decided if I'm going longest rush or just taking his rushing yards at 81.5, longest rush 16.5. But Giants, terrible run defense. You know he's going to want to light it up against this team. The one game he played against them last year, he had like 140 yards on 10 attempts or something stupid like that. So definitely don't count out Saquon this week. Some good options there for sure.
Can I bring something up with Saquon too? And I find this interesting. He's had, so they played 5 games now. He's had 4 catches in 3 of those games. He had 2 against Kansas City and another 3 last week against Denver. And I'm looking at his receptions prop sitting at 2.5 at even money. What am I missing here? Is it just because it's going to be a blowout? What am I missing? Like, he's gone over this. He's getting targets. He's catching the passes. I guess it's because the Giants are heavy favorite, or the Eagles are heavy favorites, and Saquon is not going to get the volume in the passing game. I needed to ask you about this because it blows my mind that you'd sit here at 2.5 and not at least put heavy juice on it.
I completely agree. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with the rushing yards too. Is like that's my only hesitation. Is I think this game will be a blowout, and then a guy like Saquon's not going to see much usage. At plus money, though, it's just not a bad option. And like, I'm not going to be surprised if the Giants make this game interesting. And like, I don't think the type of game where we don't see Saquon in the second half. Like, he's going to at least play in the third quarter. So I don't hate it. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go with Saquon. At plus money, though, I mean, it's worth a gamble for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And Saquon has hit 2 receptions and 5 of 5. So we were talking about that money line piece with the Eagles. If you want to make it a parlay piece, I think Saquon getting 2 receptions is there. Anything else on the Thursday night games, Argo?
No, that's all I got. I kind of want to see what the injury reports and everything looks like before I make an official move on the total. Might do something with like the Eagles money line and the total, but I'm just sticking with the player props for now.
Okay, so here's mine. I got in on the open at 66.5. I'm going to go to the Sunday morning game. Grew up a Jets fan. Live in Denver, or not in Denver. I live in Colorado, a ways from Denver, but it's J.K. Dobbins, pal. This Jets defense in general is bad. They can't stop the run. Dobbins is the number 1 running back, and he's out there for about 50%, more than 50% of the snaps. He's getting almost all the work in the actual running game. Harvey's the passing down back. Tyler Beatty's another guy that goes back there, but Dobbins is getting the volume. He has a remarkable matchup this week. And even though it's a yard higher, I mean, I'll go back in on it if anybody wants to tail it, just so I can say I got that number with you. 67.5. Maybe the juice comes down a little bit. Now, you're not going to ladder 2 yards, but I mean, even if this thing goes up to 70, I'm fine with it. All right, I found here we go. We're changing again. 67.5 minus 15 over at Bet Rivers Sugar House. Can be. Yeah, Dobbins is the man. As long as he stays healthy, he's the veteran. He's the guy that Sean Payton's going to trust. I think the Broncos, I actually think this game stays closer than a lot of people do. The Broncos are feeling all full of Fanta about themselves after that win in Philadelphia. Maybe the Jets could capitalize a little bit there, but I do see at the very least, this being a close game and Dobbins getting a ton of run. So give me his over, which is now 67.5. And then you look at his rushing attempts. I think he's pretty close to going that rushing attempt. The problem is that it opened at 14.5 with a little bit of juice. And now I'm seeing it at 15.5 everywhere. And I think that 1 carry is going to keep me off of it. But the yards is where I'm going with my official play over 67.5 for J.K. Dobbins. Do you even look at that game yet?
I love it. I mean, yeah, I was taking a peek at it because I was really hoping it was in Denver, and then I'd be all over that -7.
It's in London.
Yeah, the Jets, man, they're so bad. So bad. I love it. Terrible run defense, and that number it's so low. Like, it's not the type of number you got to worry about when it inevitably turns into a blowout. Like, he could hit that number before halftime.
I don't think it's gonna be a blowout.
Right. I mean, tough to say. I wouldn't be surprised either way. But I agree. The attempts, it's kind of like, if it gets out of hand quick, you know. But like 66.5. I mean, He could do that in 10 carries.
Yeah, and he's blown past that in every game except the first one of the season. So I think Dobbins is just going to go out there, get work. He's averaging a lot. He averaged 5.4, 7.5, 6.3 yards per carry for dipping down to 4 last week. And he scored him 4 of 5. There's another bet. I've gotten big into these parlay pieces. I don't want to run out and, make this a habit, but there's just certain bets where you can throw in on a bet that you don't like the juice and it's hit, 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10, or 12 out of 12, 14 out of 15. And I feel confident. Now, a lot of people here at Nuke The House would say that's asinine. That's stupid, but it's been working this season. So at least in the short term, Dobbins getting in the end zone is another one. Like, it's going to happen. The only question is, do you want to pay the juice in order to get there? And I think if you're going to bet a parlay piece, a touchdown probably is not the way to go. But anytime touchdown minus 130 is the best number. If you lay that juice, go for it. I don't go for it. But you can also do a little same game parlay. If you'd rather have the touchdown, you could take the touchdown, lower his yards to maybe 40. And then I bet you that's right around even money, maybe 50. I'll go look that up for you right now, if that's something you wanted to do. But I don't know why you'd feel uncomfortable with Dobbins. And he's in a great spot. He's in a great spot. Anything else there, Daddy Zargs?
What?
Any other bets you were thinking of?
I was just talking about that. Made me wonder what RJ Harvey's props were looking like.
Like his receiving props? Because that's if you think it's a blowout, then you think he's getting some carries toward the end to go over the number.
I mean,
right?
he's like, I'm not. It's such a small sample size what we have from him, but he's just been like his yards per carry are crazy. But yeah.
Here, by the way, going back to Dobbins touchdown, and this is just at DraftKings. There might be better. Dobbins touchdown and 50 yards is plus 110. That's not going to be my play because I just love his number. But if you wanted to go that direction, maybe I get to the point where I have to bet the Dobbins touchdown, but I'm not there. So you were saying what? RJ Harvey? I like his receiving yards every single week, but he's not going to get in right off the bat. So I think that's something you can bet live. What do you like from Harvey?
The 27.5 is an interesting number. And longest rush, it's right on the cusp. I don't think there's any value there. I was just curious. Because the fact that it's in Europe is that is just an aspect of the game that you can't predict. It's such a wild card with these Europe games. You never know if it's going to look like they're playing in Denver as far as like the score and the stats, or if it's going to be a weird, 13-6 kind of game. So that would just be my hesitation there. However, you mentioned bets where you don't like the juice. I was curious if you had an interception parlay, considering we got Jaxson Dart playing tonight.
Oh, that's what I hit last week. I don't know if I gave it out on the show, though. It might have been Nuke the Prop.
No, I think it's been a couple weeks since you've given an interception
okay,
parlay.
Well, guess what? You know what's not cool is that Browning might be getting benched and Geno might be getting benched. And those are, listen, every week, Browning, Geno, Trevor Lawrence. Just rinse and repeat. We had another 369 last week on those three. If Browning, Geno, and are in there, we're anchoring all of our parlays. But what did you want? You wanted an interception for who?
Well, Dart, it's only like minus 140. So I think that's, for Jaxson Dart against the Eagles, a great number.
Do you like Bo Nix or anything else? Justin Fields?
Hey, you're the interception guy.
Yeah, I just haven't dug into it. And then as far as Dart goes, Hurts you can't bet. I mean, you're just really taking a risk of a tip pass or something like that. But then you're going Jaxson Dart, INTs, minus 142. Again, if you ever wanted to bet an INT, just put them in with Geno Smith or Browning, as long as they're in there, and you're going to get the number that you want and more. I'm going to have to come up with my interception parlay for on Nuke the Props Thursday. We'll put that out there Thursday afternoon. But as of right now, no interception props. No interception props.
Okay. The one line this weekend that makes no sense to me is Buffalo -4 at Atlanta.
Okay.
I just feels like the perfect get right spot for Buffalo. Atlanta, I don't know, man. It's Atlanta. Like, yeah, they've had moments. I mean, beating Washington's huge, blanking, but then they got blanked by Carolina. They're an NFC South team. Like, that's all you got to say. In fact, the line's already moved to 4.5.
Yeah.
I hate betting this early in the week, especially since it's a Monday night game.
Right.
Buffalo -4. That's just, what are we doing?
Yeah. You can't do it. Buffalo -4. So you're laying 4 on the road with a Buffalo team that has played poorly against bad teams. Would that be accurate or inaccurate to say?
It's a fair point,
Mm-hmm.
but you think they're going to lose back-to-back games to New England and then Atlanta?
No, but are they going to cover the 4? And you think they are? On the road.
Yeah, 4 is a trap number for sure. If it's 3, we're not even thinking twice about it. And I don't think I should overthink a point. I think as the week progresses, this number could hit 5 or 6.
Oof. Yeah.
I'm on it today.
Every week I sit here and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I at least try and get you to think through the process.
Yeah, for sure. That's the point of this.
And then I tell you and it wins. So it is 4.5 at a lot of shops. Actually, it moved to 4.5 at just about every shop this morning.
It moved to 4.5 while we were talking. Like, I was looking at everything before we jumped on because, I like to have one other game to talk about. And it was at -4, and now it's at 4.5.
Yeah. So is it just stay off at 4.5 or do you get on 4.5 too?
I don't know. I might, since like I said, I hate betting this early in the week, I might do something with Eagles money line, like maybe Buffalo -3, Eagles money line, maybe, and that should hit maybe plus 150 or so. I might do something like that. And then that way too, if the unthinkable happens of the Eagles losing, we can obviously rebet.
Okay. All right. Let's go. What's the last one, pal?
I can't do. I also wanted to get right spot at Kansas City, but I just can't do it. And you look at Detroit, a dog. I don't know last time I saw Detroit as a dog.
At Kansas City.
Yeah.
If that thing goes, it's never going to go to 3, is it? But if that thing goes to 3, that is a Detroit bet if I have ever seen one. They don't play great outdoors, or Goff to me doesn't seem like he plays great outdoors. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But this Kansas City team just lost to Jacksonville on the road. Jacksonville's a good team, but Detroit's better. And I get it. They're at home. So what you got to do is look at your power ratings and then factor in Arrowhead. And there's very few places that are worth 3 points anymore. I would think that Kansas City at the very least is a 2.5 points, probably 3 points. Yeah. So if this is on a neutral field, you're telling me it's a push, then it's got to be the Lions.
Pacheco isn't back this week, is he?
Pacheco's back. He was fine.
I'm sorry. Raishi
Rice? No, not yet. But when he is, that's going to be nasty. That offense going to get really good in a hurry.
Yeah. I don't feel as good about this one, so I'm gonna do a little more digging, kind of wait and see. Okay. But I do love Buffalo this week.
Nice little discussion. All right, so here we go. My best bet for Nuke the Picks, J.K. Dobbins, Sunday morning. Jets versus The Broncos, Dobbins over 67.5 is the number now. I gave it 66.5, but it moved, so we'll give it out again. 67.5. You're on Jaxson Dart. The Eagles, Saquon. Give us your rundown of your card again, and I will be tailing right when this show ends.
So I'm going to take Saquon's rushing yards. Just for the sake of listeners, just take the over. I might push it up to like 90 to get plus money, but just grab the over. I'll blanket statement say that. Wan'Dale Robinson, over 4.5 receptions is a great parlay piece because it's at like minus 150. So we're not betting that straight, but whatever parlay you're building for Thursday night, absolutely throw that in. And then I love both Jaxson Dart passing yards and passing attempts, but because I got to give a best bet, I will go with passing attempts over 30.5 for Mr. Dart.
Wow. Again, I always look, I'm like, man, Zargo, you're out of your mind. I'm telling you anyways, right? But this week, you should be a little scared because I'm not saying you're out of your mind. I actually kind of I buy into this. I totally get it. And, his attempts at this point, everybody's going to go to the rushing yards, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's those passing yards that I think the passing attempts is something that's pretty interesting.
I will, disclaimer, whenever I'm on two bets like this, the one I like less is normally the one that hits. So, yards is probably the smarter option.
Thanks.
I think attempts is a joke.
Thanks a lot.
30.5 is a joke of a number, but
okay. So 40.5 was what he was at. Yeah, I mean, he stays on the field and doesn't get knocked out. 30.5 is kind of a joke. All right, buddy, great stuff. Make sure you check us out at nukethehouse.com. $29.99 a week, $99.99 a month. We got an annual plan as well. Tell your friends about this show. Zargo has been crushing it. Zargs, always good to see you, my friend. I'm going to hold up our new thumbnail too. What do you think about it? Do you like our new thumbnail?
Love it.
Yeah. And then let me hold. I'm going to do two things at once though. I got to hold this up and
keep the money on the field. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let's go nuke these picks, pal. Thanks, Art.